Hello, welcome back. I have been to the basement, and in the basement I found a rather, not horribly mangled, but a little twisted up manual for the X-10 Powerhouse. Now if you don't know what this is, it's okay. There was a program on the 64, and as it shows on the front, with your, oh, it's got a 17-oh something monitor on the front, you could, through an interface, program a controller which would control various things in your house. And it used these modules. They were brown way back when. I still have some. This one is white. This one is a lamp module. Will only work on a lamp. I have not tried it on any of the new fangled LED lights yet, but perhaps I will. This one just says X-10 Powerhouse. This one is the same thing, except it says RCA Home Control. And this too is a lamp module. Once again, I have not tried these on the newfangled lights, such as LED lights. There is other things that look just like this called appliance modules, and they just are, I guess they've got a relay in them. They will turn things on and off. And actually in here, in this fine room, I do have two modules and two lights hooked up together, so I can just push a button and they come on, or push a button and they go off. It's handy for things where there are things that you don't really want to reach. Like I have lights up behind me here. They're kind of a pain to get to, but also the plug is a pain to get to. So once I clean up this desk and get this moved out of here and do whatever shuffling I'm going to do, I will probably put either a lamp or an appliance module onto that lamp so I can control it without having to reach over the monitor. And of course there's three lights behind me. You can't see them because of course one of the things about recording on an iPad or anything is if you have a light that's really bright, everything else is going to look really dark. So any light you do use, it's really got to be indirect, or at least so that the bulb cannot be seen. Like I have three lights behind me, they go up at the ceiling, they come down. There's a light over here, it's like a floor lamp, it goes up, it comes down. Farther over there's one of those kind of ones that has a little clip on it, although I'm not using the little clip. It's sitting on top of a pet, and it's just pointed this way. But nothing here is, hopefully overly bright. Yes, I better think about what I say like that. Anyway, so this was kind of cool. I first learned about X-10 when I visited a fellow I knew. He worked at CFTR 680, before it was 680 News. And he had his whole office set up with such modules, and also his whole house was wired completely. Like, there was a setting for like an alarm of sorts, and I don't know how it exactly worked because I never quite did it. But on the remote controls, or not the, but they actually the controllers that I mostly use sit on a desk and they have a little clock, and you can tell it to turn things on and off, so it appears that you're home when you're not, etc. I just find it handy if you're in a room to have things that you can just go, gotcha. But anyway, he had it set up that if his alarm went off of some sort, all the lights in the house would flash on and off. Inside, outside, everything. And that has a way of attracting attention. It does. I don't know if he still uses these things. He is since, of course, married with children, and they're quite a bit older and grown and such. And, what is this too? Oh. Right. So, anyway, I know when I first met him, his house was completely done. And I'm not sure if it actually required any wiring, because, of course, these modules just plug in. They do. I think some of the things might need more stuff. Hello, Penny! Penny! Yes, Penny? Hi! What you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, this manual, yes, I know. There was, besides, Penny, I know, besides the modules, the controller units, there was one that you would hook up your 64 through the user port. That would then connect to the controller, and you could program the controller, and then things would happen when you wanted them to happen. Of course, you always must be careful with lights and things and stuff, that nothing has fallen over and nothing will burn down your house and do all that kind of stuff. As I say, I just use them when I'm right-handy there, you know, here, wherever. And yes, some years ago I did something that I don't regret, but I do miss it. I traded a Commodore 16 working in the box for a whole bunch of X-10 stuff, which I do love, but I miss the Commodore 16. And the fellow I traded, he may be out there watching. It's okay. It's all right. Right, Penny? Yes, it's okay. It's all right. Yes, Penny. Yes, Penny. Yes, Penny. I think maybe Penny would like something. Anyway, I'm going to keep this handy because somewhere I know I will find the interface and I will find the controller, and hopefully I'll even find the program. And if I don't find the program, I bet you if I search online, somewhere it will be. And I don't use any of the SD card things as of yet, but maybe someday I will. So I'm going to keep this handy. Because, like, way back when, as I've said many times, this was cutting edge. Right, Penny? Yes. Now, I believe the actual controller could only control 8 things, I think. I know certainly the ones that look like a clock. Yes, Penny. You can control 8 things, and that actually means you have to flip a switch to go between 1 to 4 and 5 to 8. But I suppose if you're really getting into it, you could get a second such thing and control more things. There was all kinds of things. I mean, I've used this a bunch, but I've only scratched the surface of all the things that they had. But as I remember, the interface was rather, you know, you take your joystick, you move around to whichever room, and you click on whatever. Now the other thing, for security reasons, you don't want everybody in the world to be able to mess with the lights and things in your house. So you could set a house code, which is from A. One would like to think I'm going to say Z, but I don't think it went that high. It looks like A to P. And then you could hook up modules from 1 through 16. So it looks like you'd have 16 of these on one house code. But if you wanted more than one thing on the same, like say you had lights in the living room, you wanted them all to come on, you could have 4 or 5 modules, all with the same code. And they would turn on, or they would go off. The thing about the lamp modules that was cool is you could dim lights. That was the thing about the lamp modules. And there was another thing where you could put in times to do things, but then make them kind of random. So if you were away for a week, people couldn't figure out immediately that, oh look, the lights go on at 5, and then they turn off at 6. And then, you know, the stereo turns on at 6:15, and whatever else happens. There was some random factor. I don't remember ever actually getting it to function properly. But maybe I just didn't have the manual. Maybe. Anyway, so X-10 Powerhouse. I'm sure, I think, that this exists some way in the modern world. It may be called something very different. It may be even part of, or parts of the way it works may be tied into some of the more modern things like Alexa and Google. I don't know. I just don't know. But they were handy. They were fun. And I'm going to give it a little example. I'm going to get up, I'm going to go over, and I'm going to push the button to turn off the extra lights. And then I will say farewell for now. So, getting up, I'm going over to my little controller here that it actually says I was at plug and power. And I'm going to click on the all units off button, and it should get darker over there. I can also press on number 1 to turn on the first light I have hooked up, and then turn it off, and I can put on number 2, put on the second light. Or I can, no, I have to do them individually, but I can turn them off together. And you can probably hear that little click, and that, I believe, is a relay. So that's all I have to say about X-10. Thank you very much for being here. Maybe you can see my shadow. I will try and wave. It's not working. Enough for now. Bye for now. Thanks for coming. I shall return to the basement. Bye for now.